It's midday and you're welcome to Joy News. Today we're live on DSV Channel 421, Go TV Channel 125, of course all our social media handles. We're Joy News on TV. Coming up, Joy News checks reveals Chinese miners backed by some influential Ghanaian collaborators have taken over one of Goldfields' old shafts at Tarkwa, threatening the company's operations. We have details in this bulletin. Also, stakeholders back proposal to review the constitution, so the EC, the Auditor General and Siraj bosses are appointed by Parliament. And in our climate focus today, we take you to Dambai, where a man has founded a dream village where Sustainable Farming and Training Center is there to nurture the next generation of climate activists. We have details of these, plus sports, business and world news coming up in the next 60 minutes. My name is Faustina Safo. Take a seat and be my guest. Thanks for choosing us for your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Now, some Chinese miners, backed by some allegedly influential Ghanaian collaborators, have taken over one of Goldfields' old shaft at Tarkwa, threatening the company's operations. Despite a series of warnings, arrests, and an injunction from the Tarkwa High Court prohibiting further development and activation of the main tram shaft, the Chinese miners and their signs have laid siege and are solidifying their takeover. Love FM's Erastus Asaredonko has been speaking to sources at Goldfields and assessing the situation. He sends this report.
Goldfields Ghana Limited acquired Tarkwa Goldfields Limited in July 1993 and developed a new open pit mine by 1998. In 1999, the company closed down its underground operations and associated shafts, including the Mantraim shaft located within the Brahabebome community. Some indigents of the town are leading Chinese miners in an encroachment and a forced reopening of the shaft. The Mantraim shaft is located few meters from the pit wall to Goldfields' main Tebrebe pit, and there are concerns any occupation of the shaft could lead to fatalities. Behind me to my left here is the Tebrebe pit, one of Goldfields Mining Company's active mining pits. Now, the Mantraim shaft, which is over 35 years old, is to my left here behind this, and it is behind the pit wall of the Tebrebe pit. Experts at the University of Mines and Technology have spelled out the dangers in opening the old shaft for small-scale mining. Here is Dr. Eric Stem, Senior Lecturer and Head of the Department of Environment and Safety, Dr. Shadrach Fosu, Senior Lecturer, Minerals and Material Science, and Dr. Theophilus Joe Asari, Environment and Occupational Health and Safety.
Underground mines, when there is going to be blasting, you have to be able to account for everybody who has gone underground and make sure that they've come to the surface before you do blast. But I think the challenge with most of the small-scale underground mines is that there is really no proper system to account for those who have gone underground. So it's possible that you are doing a blasting, but some people are still underground because they've not been accounted for on the surface, and those people will be trapped over there.
You know, in underground mining, we leave support, natural support, where we have the natural rocks serving as a support to the roof. From my experience, these artisanal small-scale mines do say that quotes, so they start chopping off the pillars that was left by the technical people who designed the underground mining. And then they tend to use wood to support the natural roof. If you look at the strength of the roof and using wood, you can see there is vast difference in terms of structural design, which can lead to collapse.
The ventilation system, which is another key area. So in an underground mine, you have an opening, and there's another opening will become your venting point. They don't know, okay, because right now most of the community mine, you have 1, 2 pit, or maybe 1 tunnel, and you have 2 community mines. So instead of being entry and exit, one is using this point as an entry, the other community mine is also using the same point as an entry. So ventilation is a very key issue.
Police interventions, series of requests to national security, and applications to the Chamber of Mines and the Minerals Commission to help stop the encroachment have failed to yield any results. Perhaps a stitch in time could forestall a looming conflict situation and possible fatality. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Tarkwa, Western Region.
Erastus Asaredonko joins us live with more on this story. Erastus, this is quite worrying. Foreign nationals defying an injunction placed here in Ghana. What's the next line of action for Goldfields?
Working. I'm reliably informed that they have even filed a series of cases with the Tarkwa police, but they have not been able to stop them. The last time they went to the site, the people in that area attacked them with stones and sticks. And so currently they are exploring the legal option, which is the injunction, but they are not even respecting that. And that is why they want government to step in and call these people to order.
That's quite a demand. Have they sent an official petition to government?
Well, I have seen communication to the Minerals Commission, for example, to various government agencies, including National Security. I have seen those communications, and but I've not seen any response from them. And so at this point, they are saying that government should step in because there are people who are very influential behind these Chinese nationals. And that is why they are so bold to take over an asset of the company like that. They have also written to the Chamber of Mines to also intervene in that action. So currently, they said that they are waiting for any other intervention. Aside that, if they go ahead to mine in that shaft, the problem will be that they will also continue to mine in their Tibrebe pit, but the result will be fatalities, because if they blast from their end, it's possible that it will send some rocks flying into that underground pit and people may die.
Erastus Asaredonko, thank you for your time here on Journeys today. Well, the paramount chief of Trifo Etimonkwa in the central region, his linguist and 2 others have been hauled before a Kumasi High Court for allegedly carrying out illegal mining activities on the concession of a licensed small-scale mining company. Officials of Kadesh Mining Enterprise in a writ say over 85% of almost 15 acres of the company's concession at Trifo Etimonkwa have been destroyed through the illegal mining operations. On Humanitarian of our security desk has more in the following report.
Kadesh Mining Enterprise was granted a 5-year mining license on June 11, 2024 to embark on small-scale mining operation after it first applied for a mining lease in 2023. But before the company could embark on commercial activities, the concession was occupied by the Omahini of Trifo Etimonkwa, Osiadia Yokwesi Kenin IV, Ochiame Yao Asamwa, Ernest Aholu, and their foreign collaborators led by Wan Wun Minji, a Chinese. According to court documents, illegal mining activities allegedly perpetuated by the paramount chief, who admitted electronically to the offense, and his assigns have caused Kadesh Mining Company commercial disadvantage and aggravated loss. As a result, officials of Kadesh Mining Enterprise are seeking the recovery of 15 million Ghana cedis in gold mined by the defendants and general damages of 20 million Ghana cedis against the defendants and jointly. But Osiadia Yokwesi Kenin IV was missing in court when the case was first called by the Commercial Division of the Kumasi High Court on Tuesday, 24 September 2024. Only Ochiame Yao Asamwa and Ernest Ahulu appeared in court. Hansen Kojo Kodia is counsel for the plaintiffs.
we had private investigations into those who were involved in the mining activities. Now, we came to discover that the Omanhene, of Chief Timokwa was the brain behind all these illegal activities and had contracted some officers or agents who are on the land mining. We have electronic evidence to say that he and his people are on the land working at the moment. Now, when we served them with the writ of summons, they entered conditional appearance and they have come to court to say that they would want the matter to be transferred to Central Region.
The paramount chief of Chifo Atimokwa, Osiadio Kwesi Kenin IV, who is also the first defendant, filed a motion raising objection to the case being heard at the Kumasi High Court instead of a Cape Coast High Court, since all defendants reside in Chifo Praso.
We have complained to the court that the Omanhene had no right to enter our concession, despite the fact that he is the Omanhene of that traditional area. Our reason was that that particular land and whatever interest therein had been granted by Mincon to the plaintiff. So it is only my client who has the right to enter the land and mine, and not the Omanhene, who claims that because he is and was the Omanhene of the area, he had every right to enter and mine with or without license. And we are saying that that is not the law.
Meanwhile, the trial judge, His Lordship Samuel Faraday Johnson, has verbally ordered the Omanhene of Chifo Atimokwa and his assigns to stay off the disputed concession until the final determination of an interlocutory injunction filed by the plaintiff, as the case is adjourned to October 14, 2024. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohimenteria reporting.
Ohimenteria filed that report and he joins us via Zoom with more. Ohimen, this is a paramount chief involved in the same activity ought to be fighting against. How are residents taking this? Ohimen, you have to unmute for me to hear you clearly.
Yes, sweetie.
Hi, Ohimen. This is Faustina. I was asking, this is a paramount chief involved in the same activity ought to be fighting. How are residents taking this?
For residents of the Chifo Atimokwa, they appear to see nothing wrong with this incident where the paramount chief, who is supposed to lead his people for development, is engaged in illegal mining. Because in the Chifo Atimokwa area, illegal mining activities are very common for even common people. So for the Omanhene, who is a custodian of lands in the area, to be involved in illegal mining appears to be a normal occurrence, a normal incident. So they don't see anything wrong with the paramount chief being engaged in illegal mining.
What's the next line of action? When next would they be called before the courts?
The Kumasi High Court will sit on October 14th, 2024 to determine an application filed by the Omanhene Osiadio, who is contesting the venue where this particular case is being heard. He wants the matter to be determined at the Cape Coast High Court instead of Kumasi High Court. But the plaintiff also believes that once two of the defendants are in Kumasi, they live in Kumasi, they see nothing wrong in bringing the matter before a Kumasi High Court. So on the 14th of October, the High Court will rule on this particular application, whether it has a jurisdiction to sit over this matter or to refer the writ of summons to the Chief Justice for further action.
Thank you, Ohiminteria. Let's stay with issues regarding illegal mining. And lawyers for arrested protesters have petitioned the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Raj. This is after 11 Stop Galamsey Now protesters were remanded into police custody and prison custody, while 8 others were also remanded into police custody. Let me run you through what they are asking for in that petition they have sent to Suraj, and it's coming up on your screen shortly. Now, these are some of the key demands they are making. They say, per the proceeding, we demand the Commission commence an immediate investigation into the allegations. What allegations exactly? They go to explain further in that petition that the Commission makes a finding that A, the right and freedom of protesters were violated. B, the police conduct, including unlawful arrest, unlawful detention, detention without food, and violation of the right to counsel, amounts to unprofessional conduct. Now, this came up yesterday where some of the protesters alleged that they were denied food. Now, they're also demanding that the Commission immediately take steps, including legal action, to ensure that the violations cease and the police officers are dealt with by law. Some of the key things they are raising in that petition to Suraj, and they go on to say that we hope to hear from the Commission as soon as possible and urge the Commission to treat this petition with the attention and urgency it deserves. Meanwhile, a former chairman of the Legal Constitutional Committee of Parliament, Inusa Hussaini, has described as unlawful the detainment of protesters. He says any group of people that protest should be defended.
So I'm a member of the Lawyers for Protest Defense. Now, we don't think that it is right to remand people into prison or police custody when they were just exercising their constitutional right to demonstrate. It's a travesty of justice, and it's totally unacceptable in a democratic country like ours. Yes, they could be on bail to come answer to the charges, but to remand people to prison or police custody just because they were exercising their fundamental right to protest. So you just cited 2 clear examples of people whose conduct you do not approve. And you know, in this country, we frown upon vicarious responsibility for criminal offense. The fact that you do not approve of the behavior of Oliver Bekavomo or that person who was hitting the police does not mean that their behavior should be a license for the arrest of all other people who were lawfully demonstrating. You get it? So that is why we have a problem. Indeed, even if Oliver Bekavomo demobilized a police vehicle, or another person was hitting a policeman, that's an assault of a police officer in the performance of his duties. Is it a crime that is not admissible to be?
Away from illegal mining, a former chairman of the Legal Constitutional Committee of Parliament, Inusa Hussaini, is asking government to approve proposals by the Constitution Review Consultative Committee for Parliament to approve appointments to the Electoral Commission, the Auditor General and Suraj. The Clarity Committee also wants members of Parliament who are appointed ministers to resign from Parliament. Speaking on Newsdesk earlier today, Inusa Hussaini said the EC is losing its legitimacy due to the current appointment process.
Questioning to the executive, you will see that Parliament, as presently constituted, is failing in its responsibility to hold the executive accountable. And so that clearly means that if Parliament is unable, unwilling to hold the executive accountable, that institution, which is a critical bulwark for democracy, is failing. And it's failing. You are looking to ensure inclusiveness in the appointment processes. these constitutional bodies are indeed constitutional bodies. They are not agencies of state, of government. They are agencies of state.
Right.
And so you will want the legitimacy of those institutions to be above board. Can you imagine that the chairperson of the Electoral Commission is appointed by a bipartisan committee of parliament and to test majority or a majority of all members of parliament voting to approve such a person? The president will be enjoined by the very fact that the threshold of approval to consult the other party in order to appoint somebody who will be acceptable to both parties. And I think that will enhance the legitimacy of those constitutional bodies.
On the same subject, lecturer at UPSA Law School Justice Abdullahi wants a review of emoluments of Article 71 holders. He also believes the Judicial Council should be allowed to appoint the senior-most person to become Chief Justice.
When it comes to issues of governance, I think that there are a lot of things that people from all walks of life would agree to, that they are the ideal thing for us to do. The reforms being proposed on this subject, for instance, literally, I'm sure everyone would agree that indeed we need a reform. I remember when the issue of the former first ladies and spouses of our leaders came up, and the benefits that they get. I mean, clearly an unconstitutional conduct, unlawful conduct. It brought about this same issue about Article 71 public holders, and it's a clear case of ripping the state off just for the benefit of a section of the society, those in leadership positions, when all of us are contributing to the kitty and expecting that the Constitution has clearly stated that we should all be treated equally. But a section has been taken out, and these people have been taken out not because of their qualification or any peculiar characteristics that they have, but simply because they have volunteered to serve us. But it turns out that looking into their emoluments, we are rather serving them.
Moving on, the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals have always been an abstract subject to many Ghanaians, especially the layperson. With only 6 years to reach the attainment of the global goals, many households reel under the impact of environmental challenges. This is attributable to the low public sensitization to attract more people to strive for a sustainable nation. In creating public awareness as the country races against time to achieve the goals, an architect and lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has developed local symbols and meanings for the sustainable goals. Emmanuel Brad Kweku has more in this report.
17 unique goals to be achieved globally by countries under the United Nations for a sustainably developed world. Ghana, like many countries who signed this treaty, have more to accomplish before the 2030 targeted deadline. But are people even aware of these goals?
No poverty, quality education, clean and affordable energy.
This level of low awareness confirms the 2023 research on examining the level of public awareness on the Sustainable Development Goals in Africa. It revealed some Ghanaians knew about Goal 1 to 4 of the SDGs, but generally awareness of the global goals was low. Out of the numerous languages of the world, the SDG symbols are only transcribed into 6 dialects. But researchers in Ghana are adopting the local arts and meanings from the Adinkra symbols to represent the goals. Known as Adinkra texture, the 17 designs were selected from the over 96 known Adinkra symbols and localized into the Ghanaian parlance for a more comprehensive description while clamoring for action. Professor Rexford Asase-Opon is the brain behind the piece.
One of the key things about sustainability is your ability or our capability and ability to appreciate our culture and bring culture into it. Sustainability is about people. It's about development.
The Edinkra symbol, despite being artistic, has meanings which communicates.
Edinkra symbols, Jinyami womu fonton from Sankofa. Sankofa nature say, I say, Adia Bia, Wapo, Ana Echem. Now what sign Koechi as Sankofa.
Health and well-being basically is abstract. But if you bring it to our local system and you are showing a symbol of Ahoden to the local person, he will know that if I have strength, if I have Ahoden, I'll be able to work and also reduce poverty.
There is a call for the incorporation of the symbology in the local curriculum to expose children to climate action and environmental sustainability. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
Emmanuel Bright-Kweku joins us live with more on this. This is innovative, Emmanuel, using Edinkra symbols to break down the SDG goals. How are they receiving this in the community?
Well, in fact, this, as you rightly saw in the reports, most Ghanaians know some of these symbols, the Edinkra symbols. We have it in local fabrics and even on the graffitis you find around. You find some of these symbols. So if it is being used to represent the sustainable development goals, then surely most of these people can really cooperate or really cope with some of these things, understand how they can use, let's say, a symbol like Jinyame or Sankofa. They can understand it better in terms of the SDGs, because generally when we went out in town to speak with them, just showing them the symbols that was drawn for the SDGs, some of them could not really understand. But taking something like a local art to represent some of these things, they were able to appreciate what was being said about sustainability, because the awareness about the SDGs is so low, and we have only just some few years, that is about some 6 years to end the SDG. So with this particular art, hopefully some awareness can be created, some awareness can be achieved, some people can get to understand. And so for many of them, this is an innovative piece and they can easily cope with it.
There are calls for this to be incorporated in our curricula. Has he so far petitioned the Education Ministry, referring to the lecturer?
Okay, for now, no, he hasn't done anything, but it was just an admonition he was given out there that this can be adopted, this can be incorporated in our curriculum. So the students, the upcoming ones, the pupils, even can know, because if right from kindergarten, you don't know really much about the SDGs, then generally, what are we going to do as a country in fighting for a sustainably developed world? So he hasn't really started anything yet, but it was an admonition, and he's hoping that the government could heed to this and then work on it.
Thank you, Ma. Now, let's take you to Dambai, because a man has founded Dream Village, a sustainable farming and training center to nurture the next generation of climate activists. Located near the Oti River, it uses eco-friendly housing and solar power, as well as rainwater harvesting. The village will train local farmers and environmentalists in regenerative agriculture, promoting safe food production and environmental stewardship. On our Climate Focus series, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin examines how this initiative supports climate change mitigation.
My name is Clement Matomas, and I'm the founder of Dream Village, Ghana. Our main objective is to provide a space where people can come and dream, farmers can come and learn about regenerative agriculture, and a place to gather also the youth to empower them on agriculture skills, as well as to become a nature activist.
Clement Matomasen is overseeing the village garden, while other workers engage in various tasks to maintain productivity. Structures at the village are from mud-based construction materials such as earth and thatch, which are cost-effective and can sequester carbon dioxide from the atmosphere over time. The walls can also act as carbon sinks, storing carbon and preventing it from re-entering the atmosphere, thereby helping to mitigate the impacts of climate change. Clement says embracing locally sourced materials enables communities to reduce their carbon footprint associated with construction, a key principle underlining his Dream Village initiative.
So with regards to our housing system, we deliberately choose to build our houses using local materials. Indigenous architecture has been with us for generations, and some of this architecture have very good backgrounds behind them, why they build our architecture that way. For instance, the round huts help harness energy within the housing system so that at least energy, positive energy, will keep staying within the housing. Roofing it with thatch is available material, so it helps to sustain it. Instead of burning the bushes, we have the thatch that is being harvested to roof the houses. Materials from the soil are also easily available, so you can, within a space of 10 days, build a nice hut to stay in, which is for sustainability reasons or for affordability reasons, is easily doable by the local communities.
This is one of the sustainable housing systems that experts say can mitigate the shattering effects of climate change.
A report by Mohamed Nuruddin.
Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
While speaking earlier on the AM show, Dr. Rauf Zania suggested that regenerative agriculture could improve food security nationwide, particularly with the growing illegal mining menace.
Improving water cycle, improving the health of ecosystem services, in all to help livelihood becomes resilient to climate shocks on one hand, and also minimize or mitigate the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So something that is the initial cause of the climate change. So basically that is what the regenerative agriculture, that is what the concept basically talks about. And it involves using locally available resources, things that we tend not to value them, things that we tend to see them as waste, can actually be harnessed to promote sustainable livelihood systems to withstand the shocks from climate change.
Speaking on the country's current housing plans and structuring, housing engineer Eric Atasono emphasized that affordable housing is achievable with the right strategies and systems in place.
Affordable housing, it is possible, but we need to put in place the right schemes. We need to tutor ourselves as people, and we need to make sure that we get the right technologies in place, and the supervision is also good enough.
Finally, I'd like us to, or maybe my penultimate bid to you, I'd like us to look at policies, regulations, frameworks that maybe are needed. You've already spoken about how tax rebates and others could be given to some, groups to sustain such initiatives. What policies and regulations need to be implemented to encourage this eco-friendly lifestyle, this eco-friendly way of putting up houses, of living, basically?
The first thing is that for us as professionals, for our state institutions, for our educational institutions, we need to begin training people in the use of locally available building materials. That's one. We should not only be looking at these adapted materials. We should also begin teaching and training how to build using these locally available building materials. That's one. Two, how to store the materials, how to use the materials. The issue of land is key. When it comes to affordable housing and some of these things, the question of land is important. We know how land is usually very expensive. And so if we can have land banks that government chiefs will release to some of these people, they will be able to utilize it and it will bring down the cost of our construction.
You're watching Journeys today. We'll be back with business, showbiz, and sports. So stay tuned in.
Good afternoon and welcome to the business segment on Joy News today with me, Pius Kojobaka. Payment service provider eTransact has unveiled its newest app known as Excel Ghana mobile app. This app aims to provide an inclusive service that will transform the Ghanaian financial sector. There is more in the following report.
The interactive mobile app serves as an all-in-one platform, providing users with seamless control over their GH Link cards while offering a list of convenient financial services. The app has been designed for all manner of persons, including business owners, students, professionals, or someone managing day-to-day finances. Speaking to Joy Business on the sidelines of the launch of the app, Chief Executive of eTransact, Dr. John Appiah, said the Excel mobile app will enable users to easily transfer funds from the bank accounts, mobile wallets, and Excel accounts, providing flexibility while managing personal finances.
Just for me, it's the convenience of being able to do things, you know. Sometimes you use one app to send money here, you use one app to pay for your DSTV, you use another app to pay for your water, electricity. This is everything under one roof. It's like going to a petrol station, you buy fuel, and then you do your groceries, and then you have your car washed. That is the equivalent of what we're trying to do with this app. And what I like to say is, I think our app is even beyond payments. Our app is about creating particular niches. So we have some exclusive contracts, for instance, with the Commonwealth Office, where you can have Commonwealth jobs and internships only on our app.
On his part, the founder of eTransact Global, who is also the main brain behind Excel mobile app, Dr. Valentine Obi, said the main goal of the app was the desire to democratize access to financial services in the country.
As an individual, you can see what is talk about pots. You know, you can save. You can basically say, well, I want to save this amount for a particular project, and then you can save along it. You can also combine with others to save towards the product. You can, you know, a susu is caught with, you know, people doing here and, you know, manually. Now you have the institution whereby you can come in as a group and you can do it digitally. And then there's a lot more control, there's more security, you know, and convenience with doing that. Apart from the fact I can do just every other thing that any bank.
The acting registrar of corporate societies in Ghana, Kwabena Praku-Yeboah, has advised members of credit unions to desist from seeking redress from the law courts on issues bothering the unions. He wants them to exhaust all internal means of conflict resolution to avoid waste of time and financial resources. Mr. Yeboah was speaking at the 42nd and 43rd annual general meeting of the Hydro Cooperative Credit Union at Akonsombo in the Eastern Region. My colleague Edwin Kofisian reports.
The annual general meeting, which covered 3 financial years, was on the theme Building Resilient Hydro Cooperative Credit Union in a Competitive Market Environment. Established in 1971, the union was owned and controlled by the staff of the Volta River Authority. However, it now has a membership of over 14,000, including VRA, GridCo, and Bui Power Authority staff, who form majority. Other members include public and private workers, individuals, churches, and small-scale and medium-scale enterprises, with a total asset of over 160 million Ghana cedis. In his welcome address, board chairman of the Hydro Cooperative Credit Union, Joseph Asari Keteku, assured members of the union's effort at recovering a 16 million cedis locked-up funds with investment firms.
Our SIC Financial Services, we have about 10.5 million Ghana cedis locked up. NTHC Financial Services, We have about 2.1 million Ghana cedis. Gold Coast Security Management, also we have about 2.2 million Ghana cedis. Relatively put together, about 16 million has been locked up. And the board of directors are still pursuing it. We are told that the government of Ghana has made some funds available, that all persons and institutions who have their funds locked up, the appropriate regulatory authorities should ensure that those funds are refunded to the parties who actually invested in those houses.
On the spot, the acting registrar of the cooperative societies, Kwabna Apreko Yeboah, advised members of credit unions to resist the temptation of seeking redress at the law court, since the cooperative laws enjoins members to exhaust all internal means of conflict resolution.
That if we rush to court with our issues, we incur costs. With regard to legal fees, we have to pay to lawyers and the filing processes at the court. Meanwhile, your cooperative that you take to court is going to use the funds that you have contributed in the cooperative to fight the case. Let us therefore familiarize ourselves with the provisions for grievance handling in our bylaws so that we save ourselves totally avoidable expenditures.
The general manager, Edward Ajakwa, revealed to Joy News that the union declared a total dividend of over 25 million Ghana cedis from July to December 2021, 2022, and 2023 financial years, out of which 49% was declared to the shareholders. For Joy News, Kofi Sian Akosombo.
And that's it for business for now. That will be at 1 p.m. with the marketplace. I am Pius Kujubaka.
Time now to bring you sports here on Joy News today with me, Muftawa Nabila Abdullah. Former Black Stars captain Stephen Appiah says that foreign-based Ghanaians are struggling to adapt to the senior national team, the Black Stars, when they decide to switch nationality to play for Ghana because they do not understand the culture of their country. According to him, it is important that the players are immersed into the Ghanaian culture before they are given opportunities of representing Ghana. He was speaking before the Parliamentary Select Committee for Sports, investigating a petition sent to them by the Safe Ghana Football conveners.
Honorable Chair, yes, I think at times some things happen, but I won't blame the players. I would rather blame the coaches, because at the end of the day, you are the boss. So you can decide not to play Ronaldo, he can't say anything. He will get upset, but at the end of the day, if a coach decide, I'm not playing you, you can't do anything. So when players are, you think that players think that they are beyond you, the coach, you have to take certain drastic decisions. Yes, I was then a player, today I'm a coach, so it's two different things. So I'm not a player anymore that you can compare yourself that you are better than me. I'm the coach. So you have to respect my decisions. Those things happen, but I would say that the coaches should be more brave and take certain decisions. Yeah, I mean, sad things happen. I mean, if people try to put their president under certain thing, and I think we have to take this very, very serious. You have coaches who go to Pram for 6 months, 4 months, and they don't take any salary, only allowance. You have coaches for the Black Stars who are earning so much. Under 17 coaches, they don't take anything. Under 20 coaches, they don't take anything. Under 23. So if I'm a coach, and these things are not happening to me, and an agent comes, and he wanted me to take his player and give him some money, I'll take it. So I think that we have to try and solve that problems to make the coaches feel okay. I'm not saying that the under 17 coaches should feel better than senior national team coaches. But in a way, we have to let them feel okay, and we have to let them feel that they are working and they have to make something out of it. So I think your question, because some of them find themselves that they are not getting anything, so when people influence them with envelopes, they take it.
That's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. We appreciate your time.
It's time now for Showbiz, and Jacqueline Ansumayeba joins us live with more. Jacqueline, what is trending?
Well, firstly, a lot has been trending on social media, but then Ghanaian musician and producer Raphael Camido has been calling for some major tune-up in the local music industry. Well, according to the hitmaker, he says it's time for Ghanaian stakeholders to put their money where the music is and invest big in video production and marketing, just like my Nigerian counterparts. Let's take a listen.
Speaking in an interview on Love FM with Melvin the Enigma, Camido didn't hold back as he emphasized the importance of quality investment in the music scene. He pointed out that while Ghana's music industry is growing, it's not hitting the high note it could. Why? Well, it all comes down to investment. He believes that local investors are playing small, especially when it comes to backing artists, creating top-notch videos, and marketing their work.
I think that there's a lot of investment. I think that there's a lot of investment. And also, I believe that Ghana used to have a lot of investment, but a lot of people express disappointment in the return on investment.
Okay.
So that had become the problem. That had become like the standing block, from people subsequent investments. Do you understand? I believe Nigerians have figured it out. They have figured it out how to really truly invest and monitor and ensure that they recoup properly, but maybe we haven't figured it out. So then we are lacking when it comes to our investment, for example, the budget towards marketing, the budget towards a music video. You will see that Nigerian music video budget, it looks like our movie budget. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, these people really understand, because why would this person be putting so much money that you will be so almost scared?
In contrast, Ghana is still dragging its feet when it comes to unlocking that level of growth. To back up his point, Camido celebrated a recent milestone, his Sugarcane remix hitting a whopping 100 million views on YouTube, making it the most watched video by a Ghanaian artist on the platform. Proof, he says, that with the right investment, the results can be sweet. It looks like Camido's message is clear. If the local music industry wants to reach the next level, it's time to stop singing for supper and start investing like the Nigerian neighbors. For Joy News, I am Jacqueline Ansumayeba.
Jacqueline, it appears this comparison between Nigeria and Ghana won't end anytime soon, would it?
I know, right? Especially when it comes to our creative arts industry, it looks like most of the creators in Ghana believe that Nigeria is doing far better than them when it comes to certain aspects. But you and I know that when it comes to our food, I think we are leading them.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Well, that's it for Joy News today. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Sapp. Up next is Marketplace.